It was Christmas Eve, 2024, around 10 p.m., and I was standing on my mother-in-law's doorstep in the bitter, bone-chilling cold, clutching my screaming 8-month-old son, Lucas, while my 4-year-old daughter, Emma, wrapped herself desperately around my leg. The 4-hour drive through the relentless snowstorm had left me exhausted, drained, and coated in a mixture of baby vomit, snow, and my own frayed patience. Yet somehow I forced a smile because it was Christmas, and family, at least in theory, should mean love, warmth, and belonging. But the instant the door opened, any trace of hope vanished. My mother-in-law, Victoria, stared at me with a piercing, icy gaze and declared, "You're not my daughter-in-law anymore. Leave." Then, with a deafening slam, she shut the door in my face. Time seemed to stop. Emma's small, frightened sobs cut through the night like glass. Lucas's wails pierced the icy air, and I just stood there, numb, shaken, and in utter disbelief. The long drive home was silent, broken only by the occasional cry of a child, each mile dragging on like an eternity. I'm Laura, 32, a second-grade teacher, the kind of woman who thrives on routine, kindness, and caring for others. I bake cookies for school fundraisers, volunteer tirelessly, and try to spread joy wherever I can. But conflict? Drama? That's my kryptonite. Which is why navigating Victoria's constant manipulations over the past 8 years had left me emotionally battered. My husband, Daniel, 34, is the most steadfast, compassionate man I've ever known, working in IT but carrying a heart far bigger than most. Our children, Emma and Lucas, are our world. Emma, bursting with curiosity and an insatiable love for dinosaurs, and Lucas, high-strung and loud, whose cries seem to echo for miles. Victoria, 58, is the widow of a wealthy businessman, living in a flawless mansion in a suburban paradise where every hedge is sculpted, every chandelier sparkles, and every inch screams perfection. But behind that immaculate facade lies a woman obsessed with control, appearances, and maintaining the illusion of a flawless life. From the very beginning, I tried to win her over. I dressed carefully, spoke politely, brought gifts, and poured energy into impressing her, even as a broke college student. Yet Victoria's approval was always just out of reach. Cold politeness laced with subtle, cutting judgment. Early on, I overheard her whisper, "She's sweet, Daniel, but she's not what I imagined for you." I smiled, forcing composure, but the words dug into me, a silent wound that grew over the years. Wedding planning only magnified her obsession with control. I envisioned a small, intimate ceremony, but Victoria turned it into her production, inviting strangers, rearranging venues, and rewriting our vows. Daniel defended me, but even then he tiptoed, trying to maintain peace, murmuring, "She means well. That's just how she is." I kept trying harder, and for years, nothing was ever enough. The first major rupture came when I was pregnant with Emma. We told Victoria, expecting joy and tears of happiness. Instead, she, coldly, said, "Already? Don't you think you should be more established first?" It was a gut punch. When I went into labor, she barged into the delivery room uninvited, criticizing my choices, lecturing about natural birth, and turning my most vulnerable, sacred moments into a stage for her ego. After Emma was born, the attacks continued. Constant criticism, rearranging our home, meddling with our children, and posting photos online despite my repeated requests. Even the spare key Daniel had given her became a tool for intrusion. She showed up unannounced, once while I was in the shower, and every visit was a minefield of judgment. My patience frayed, my anxiety escalated, and Daniel, though supportive, often attempted to placate her, letting her manipulate us both. With Lucas, tensions escalated further. Victoria criticized everything, from our family planning to childcare choices, from my return to work to my parenting style. She projected a perfect grandmother image while covertly undermining me at every turn. The breaking point came during Emma's 4th birthday party. Victoria invited uninvited guests, including Daniel's ex, took over the party, and gave a speech praising herself for raising Daniel so well. That night, Daniel admitted that boundaries were long overdue. We decided that Christmas would be at our home. Victoria immediately protested, insisting that Christmas always happened at her house. We stood firm. Yet, when she called, sobbing, begging us to come, I reluctantly caved. The drive to her mansion was brutal. Snowstorm winds battered the car. Emma whimpered, Lucas cried, and I was on the verge of collapse. By the time we arrived, I was a shadow of myself, drained, but still holding my children close. Victoria's words sliced through the night. You're not my daughter-in-law anymore. Leave. She wanted Daniel and the kids without me and slammed the door in our faces. I froze, shaken to the core. Daniel grabbed my arm and whispered, We'll get through this. And we drove home in silence, the storm echoing our despair. But I knew Victoria. I knew her deepest fear, exposure. Her life was a delicate house of cards built on appearances, and truth terrified her. I enlisted Daniel's cousin, Amy, who had long recognized Victoria's manipulations. We meticulously gathered evidence, texts, recordings, screenshots, and a detailed timeline of every insult, guilt trip, and intrusion. Daniel wrote his statement chronicling years of coercion and control, and Amy secured testimony from family members who had silently witnessed Victoria's patterns. We were ready for public accountability, the only thing that would force her to face herself. On December 30th, 12 family members gathered at Amy's house. Victoria arrived late, radiant and confident, ready to command attention. But when she saw me, her smile faltered. Amy blocked her exit. Daniel stood tall, recounting the Christmas Eve humiliation, the manipulations, the emotional abuse. I played recordings of her disparaging me, text messages where she belittled my parenting, and family members corroborated every claim. Victoria was cornered, her carefully constructed image crumbling. She exploded in rage, blaming me for everything. This is all her fault! Before storming out. For the first time, I felt relief, vindication, and liberation. The aftermath was chaotic. Victoria called, texted, and attempted legal threats, claiming grandparents' rights. But Daniel remained firm. Authorities intervened, and gradually, Victoria sought therapy. Months later, real apologies arrived, boundaries were respected, and our family began to heal. Daniel and I grew stronger, attending couples therapy to maintain communication. Our children thrived, oblivious to the chaos that had nearly consumed us. Victoria participated respectfully, only visiting with Daniel present, and never posting photos without permission. Extended family, once silent witnesses, became allies, supporting us and celebrating holidays at our home, loud, chaotic, and full of love. That Christmas Eve, the worst night of my life, became the catalyst for reclaiming peace, respect, and our family's dignity. I found my voice, Daniel found his, and together we taught Victoria that boundaries are non-negotiable. Family isn't defined solely by blood. It's defined by those who honor, respect, and protect one another. That night, standing in the snow with my children, crying, exhausted, and humiliated, I learned a lesson I will carry forever. You teach people how to treat you, and no one, not even family, has the right to dictate your worth.